Hey everyone, thanks for watching on this video for the Ant Panda channel. Of course you know me, I'm Ant Panda, also Panda, or whatever else you want to call me. I have an interesting and different episode of Will It Install, as I want to actually talk about a little bit about this new Gateway project that I've actually finished up somewhat. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at it here in just a second, but I was able to actually acquire a full gateway system, and I kind of needed to do this in order to ensure that, one, compatibility kind of helps on the range of some of the what it install or will it install kind of games, but two, Gateway just has a special place in my heart. And so what we're going to do is take a look at the system I was able to pick up, and we'll look at the whole entire thing and kind of talk about the games and capabilities of it, as well as why the Gateway system means so much. All right, and this is the Gateway Flextastic Essential 866 Windows ME system with a 17-inch LCD screen, which is mostly pieced together appropriately with the time. Of course, there's going to be some oddities that we're just going to point out. The nice thing with this included system is I was able to find a Gateway storage folder that actually has a bunch of the restoration kit discs and also all of the different Microsoft Office programs that usually comes with everything, all included in this nice little folder system, all kind of going in the same way. The emblem for this system and for most of what Gateway is promoting is the cube of Gateway with the cow print, which is very essential to me and is actually very super important. The keyboard is an RT3604 in beige, and I did actually clean this up. This was very yellowed, especially with most of the actual keys itself. And most of it has a lot of the shortcut keys at the top with different volume controls. It's got shopping, email, question mark for help, internet, as well as some of the actual media controls of play, reverse. And yeah, it's around the same time era, and it has everything kind of included in the corners here, which is keeps it standing up with two USB 1.0 ports. One that obviously has one for extras, and then also on the end here actually has one for the mouse, which is what I have included here. And also what we're including is where the mouse actually plugs into in order to keep it kind of together. The mouse itself is known as, we get a simple ball Gateway vintage mouse with the same icon of the cube cow print that's included. This was also cleaned up and de-yellowed, known as the tracker wheel mouse, very traditional, and has this inclusion of the ball with the sensors on the inside. This actually was pretty easy to put together. A mouse, ball mouse that works really well with the scroll wheel, double click as well, and feels really good on the fingers. Of course, we also have to have the Gateway Cube cow print mouse pad that comes included with just about every Gateway, as well as the Gateway cup that is cow print Gateway on it, that actually is associated with the brand. And then we have a few more oddities and essentials for it, which of course we've got the little stress cube that kind of goes with the theme because most of this is the cube cow print. We also have these speakers that are also from Gateway. This is kind of where the oddities start to come in. This is a little bit of a gray. These are the G-Max 2000s that actually work and connect with the audio jacks that are included with the computer. And both of them sound really well with their individual power sources. And as you can see here, this is the 866 desktop Gateway computer. It has a CD disc player, as well as a 3.5 floppy. The interesting thing about the product review for the Gateway Essential 866 is that it was actually right around the quoted price of $14.99. And it was just as kind of the title speaks, it was essential, where you had the essentials of a 1.0 USB that's on the front, as well as I believe about 3 to 4 on the back. And then you also have a disk and 3.5 floppy. You can actually have this desktop in a vertical or horizontal kind of setup. Me personally, as I grew up with Gateway systems, I always loved to have them horizontal with the LCD screen that was on the top. It has a Pentium. It has been upgraded as far as the RAM goes from 64 megabytes at least to 100 with system RAM included. It does have integrated graphics, I believe, with the Intel Extreme. But the crazy thing is it was essential. It didn't have a lot of extra ports for hardware acceleration. And so generally you're going to use the integrated graphics. And it is something that can display 32-bit color all the way up to 1024 by 768. So it will kind of satisfy a lot of those older games that will require it. With the power button here at the bottom left, nice little gray cover with the 2 front USB ports. And then last but not least, we have the LCD screen. Now again, this one is a little bit further along. As you can see, the icon is a different icon as far as marketing goes. This is the FPD 1730 17-inch color LCD screen instead of the 15-inch that usually comes included, which I don't mind the 2 extra inches. It actually works pretty well, and it kind of fits with the system. And luckily, with the speakers that have included, it all just kind of fits well with the theme of it being beige or gray in the way that it's set up. And like I mentioned, it was Pentium 3 with Windows ME is what this is designed for. So results may vary based on what you've got. So let's go ahead and take a trip down memory lane, and we'll get to some of the older games in this era of the 2000s and see what it's like to turn on a computer. Now, within this system, it has a lot of the older games. There are some things that kept very stock. Of course, with the Windows Media Player, and of course, America Online that came included. I did incorporate some of the Windows games that are from kind of the era of what it was as well as earlier. And a lot of this is from the Best of Windows Entertainment Pack. But, of course, we have some classics here that I will always carry with me from Windows 95. And that, of course, is Hover. Because why not? This has a very special place for me. And still works really, really well, even with the system. And then, of course, with some of the other classics that we have included with it, Hover obviously wasn't part of the entertainment pack. But you have, of course, Jazz Ball, which I've apparently really sucked at. I can't end on that. Okay, maybe I can't end on that. We, of course, have the other ones like Ski Free. Of course, everybody loves Ski Free. Why am I so terrible with games today? Probably because I'm showing off. And on that note, let's go ahead some other games as well. We have Fuji Golf, which who doesn't love to play a little Fuji Golf? I always try to see if I can always cut this corner, but I always end up not doing it very well. Dang it. I'm terrible at this. In the bunker. Almost. Oh. 40th position, of course. And then we have a few other games as well that comes included with chess, Chips Challenge. And then we've also installed Desktop Adventures with Indiana Jones, and of course some of the Yoda stories as well, which I will always play these games no matter what century it is, just because of a different time that we're in. And then the interesting thing is about this particular PC is that it does have some 3D capabilities, obviously that we've seen with Hover. Before I get to that, though, of course, we have to play a quick round of 3D pinball, specifically Space Cadet. I've already tilted it. It's been a minute since I've actually played the controls. There, control. Left, right. Oh, bottom table bump is that. And the plunger is enter. And then finally, last but not least, and we'll go ahead and turn this down, we'll play Microsoft Fury 3, which has installed correctly and pretty importantly, but of course it's run in 256 colors that everybody kind of suggests that it does. Interesting enough, you can look around in the cockpit view. Of course, very limited as what you can do. Even left to right. And then, of course, we've got a few other games that I have included here. But most of this is actually early stuff, which we will actually perform even more. When you look at the UI for the entertainment pack, that's what we're seeing here. And it's actually the same type of menu that we have included. But now that we actually have all this installed, we can actually see it from the start. And then we'll go ahead and shut it down. So the beauty is now I have a system that is basically of the era. Of course, it's Windows ME, so it doesn't have the best DOS compatibility that's included. But it is a nice system. Believe it or not, when I first got it, it was just full of bloatware upon bloatware. It even had 2 or 3 different virus protection programs on there. I think it was Kaspersky and Norton. But I wanted to build a system like this because it was so personal to me growing up, mainly just because of the fact that this essentially is an older system where it was really limited in a time growing up where I didn't have a lot of capability, a lot of money, or anything, and so you kind of played with what you were given, and you played it so much, you got so well at it, at those different games, that you just enjoyed it. And on the weekends and at nights when everybody would go to bed or early in the morning, you turn that system on either with your cup of coffee or juice or whatever, and you can just let your imagination run wild with a retro system of Microsoft. And that's essentially why I wanted to build this beautiful Gateway system. I actually have a few other Gateway projects I put together. The nice thing is this system itself, piecing it all, didn't cost very much. The system with the hard drive that is probably the weakest out of the bunch without any upgrades. It was about $50 on eBay plus shipping. I upgraded that to have about 100 megabytes. It does have of RAM. It does have the Pentium 3, which I went ahead and cleaned up and kind of put everything together and de-yellowed everything. The keyboard and the mouse cost about $20, 10 to 15 each. And then the speakers are about $20, and then the LCD screen I was able to find for about $30. So it wasn't too bad piecing this together. Honestly, I would like to get the 15-inch beige LCD screen, but you know, you get what you get. And this is a nice little system that I just was able to put together that's able to capture that Windows ME experience. Essentially, I grew up with Windows 98 mostly, but I did have ME as well for a while. And I think a lot of the capabilities of it were actually pretty good. Even though some of the older DOS stuff, some of it works with command prompt and kind of what it has, but it just depends on what type of game system. But essentially, that is the Gateway project I wanted to share and include. And what we'll do is we'll probably incorporate this system with some of the other will install games in order to actually see if we can get these games to actually work and play together on will it install with some of these older systems if the modern ones don't work. But thanks for taking the time and going down memory lane with me as we look at the early years of the 90s into 2000s of some of the technological systems that we have, and enjoy and kind of, embrace and celebrate when we can through trying times and crazy stuff going on today. But if you've been in my shoes in the 90s and, late 80s, and, obviously you're in a kind of a place where you only had like one system, maybe one TV in a house full in the 90s, and everybody kind of took turns, I think you'll appreciate kind of this little humbling experience of seeing these older systems work together. So anyway, that'll do it for this one. I'll catch you on the next video.